challenge it is. But man, quarantine is like Vegas. Stay with me for a minute. Like, this is going to make sense. Quarantine is like Vegas. Like, have you ever been to Vegas and you can't see daylight? So you don't know if it's daytime, is it nighttime? It's like everything runs together. It all is sort of starting to run together for me, which is why we need to be organized. So first of all, thank you guys so much for joining the challenge. I hope that you are getting a ton out of this. I hope that you're finding it really helpful and that we're giving you some tools and some tactics and some ways of thinking that are helping you during this time. As always, the challenge is totally free, so our only ask is that if it is helpful to you, that you will share it in your community, meaning put it on your social, invite your sister. They will be able to access all of the classes we've already taught. So no matter when they sign up, they have access to the learning portal. But this week, I wanted to talk about organization because as I was laying out the programming for what we would do together in next 90 days, I felt like this one was really important because when life feels out of control, you have to focus on what you are capable of affecting. So if you've ever heard the serenity prayer, it says, grant me the strength to change the things I cannot accept and accept the things I cannot change, and the wisdom to know the difference. So what are the things in your life right now that you can control, that you can affect? If you're in quarantine, or if you're an essential worker, or the world feels like it's in chaos and every single week the news gets worse and worse, if that's what it feels like to you, what can you affect? Well, you can affect your personal space, right? You can affect what's going on in here, you can affect what's going on in here, and that's what I want to talk about. I want to talk about 3 kinds of organization today. Organizing your personal space, organizing your thoughts, and organizing your direction. So 3 completely different things. I'm going to give you tactics and tools on each one of them. Let's go ahead and dig into this idea. So first, let's talk about your personal space. I don't know about y'all, but I have been organizing more, cleaning more, maybe this is the time to like get myself some new kitchen towels or like buy a candle for my home. I feel like I'm feathering my nest. I've hung pictures that I've been meaning to hang up forever. I'm using this time to be productive, and I'm being productive around the house because that's where we are at. We are here, we are at home, we are using this house more than we ever have before. And so it feels important to make sure that we're taking care of it. And it's important that your home, your apartment, your car, whatever your own personal space is, it's important that it is organized because our space is a physical manifestation of what's going on in our heart. Let me say it again. The space around you is a physical manifestation of what's going on in your heart. Now, I can tell you this is true. I am not, I wish that I was cool enough to be able to turn this camera. Like I'll get some kind of, I'll take a picture of it. My desk is absolutely insane. Like hold on. We're just gonna just do this right here. This is the desk. It's crazy. It's covered with things. There's 2 computers. It's just here. I mean, Noah's shoes are on the ground. There's trash that's coming out. We got a hanger over here. Like, this is not my best work, you guys. This is not something that did I just do that without a memory card too? No, okay, I had a memory card. At least there's that. And I'll be honest, that's not me. I am kind of crazy about my workspace being clean and being organized because in the entirety of my career, I have always felt like if my space wasn't clean, it made me feel crazy. And don't get me wrong, this makes me feel crazy. But work does feel insane right now. It feels intense. It feels like I'm going 1,000,000 miles an hour. It feels like I am the most productive I've ever been, and yet I get to the end of every day and I'm like, oh my gosh, like there's still so much to do tomorrow. I think a lot of small business owners feel like I do right now because we're trying to make sure that we can stay afloat regardless of what's happening in the world around us. So when I tell you that your space is a physical manifestation of what's going on in your heart, that feels entirely accurate to what's going on in my heart as it pertains to business. Now, if you walked out into the rest of my house right now, You would see a kitchen that is immaculate. You would see a pantry that is organized. You would see a bed that is made. You would see a clean house. Because in my home, I feel settled. I feel centered. I feel like I am in my nest in a way that I have never been before. So it is very clear to me where I feel like things feel chaotic. And I know for a fact that if I finish this video with you and I clean up this office, so it's Friday afternoon, it's the end of the day, if I take the time, when I take the time to clean up this office before I leave, I promise you that it will give me a sense of peace. Not only that, but when I come back in here on Monday morning, I'm going to feel like I'm ready to go, like I'm not walking into chaos. So the reason I care so much about your physical space is because it's an easy hack to make yourself feel calm. When we first went into quarantine, I started cleaning things that didn't need to be cleaned. I started organizing my silverware. I literally went in and started organizing the silverware drawer of like not the everyday forks. I was organizing the wedding forks. Anyone else have some wedding silverware that you had like the everyday and then you got like the nicer stuff? And so now you have a drawer filled with the nicer stuff that you literally never use unless it's Thanksgiving. I organized that drawer because I was just looking for things that I could affect and I could control. And if you feel like right now it feels out of control, start with your physical space. It's not an instant switch, but it will help you. The other reason that it matters that you take care of that physical space is that you are signaling, if you're by yourself, you're signaling to yourself. If you have a family, you're signaling to the whole family what you're worth. On some level, you are telling yourself with how you take care of your space what you think you're worth. Are you worth a room that's thrashed? Are you not worth a clean bathroom? Are you not worth the dishes being done? Like on some level, you are showing yourself with what's going on in your house, the level of which you're willing to show up for your life. We're at home. We're spending a ton of time at home right now. And I can't imagine doing that inside of a space that's a mess. And you keep putting it off and you keep throwing the clothes on that chair in your room. You know the chair in your room that's covered with all the clothes that you're going to get to someday? You keep putting things off like as if some magical fairy's going to come in and start taking care of you or fixing your life. They're not. It's you. It's you. And the physical, like the things that you have, the stuff that you have, there's a cost to those things. And I don't just mean the cost of buying those products or having those clothes or having the dishes. I mean, there's a cost to you and your emotional being every single time that you see the thing that you worked hard to acquire thrown on the floor, buried under a pile of laundry, destroyed, not clean, not taken care of. You keep signaling to yourself what you are worth. And you are worth more than this. You are worth more than this. It matters. It matters what's going on in your house, guys. It matters what's going on in your apartment. It matters what's going on in your car. If you are in your, you have a bedroom. Maybe you're watching this, you like live in someone else's house and you have your own bedroom. Respect yourself enough to take care of your space. Respect yourself enough. That's what it comes down to. You have created a habit of not trying. I said it. I love you enough to say it. This isn't for everyone, but there are people here right now who know. If you look in the space around you, you know there's the pile of laundry. There's the stacks of dirty dishes. There's the trash that needs to be taken out. There's all the cabinet doors that are opened. There's all the stuff that's on the floor. It's a habit, guys. It's not who you are. You are not this person. You are worth more. You've created a habit of not trying, of not pushing yourself, of not showing up for your worth, and you can just as easily fight to create a habit of a new you. The easiest way that I know to go about this is to start with one room. Just one room in your house. And maybe you need to pick the smallest room you've got. Maybe you need to pick the powder room. Maybe you need to pick like one little corner. And you're going to make it a goal to keep that area clean, to create and build a new habit that shows you, that reminds you of your worth and your value, because it is a signal. If maybe you're not in that space, but you are struggling a bit, you're feeling anxious, honestly, go clean up your desk. Go make your bed. Go do something. Go control what you can control. Gretchen Rubin has a great book called Outer Order, Inner Calm. You guys should check that out. It'll probably take you forever to have a book delivered, so maybe get it on Audible or something. But it's this great book all about how it's scientifically proven that if the things around you feel organized and pulled together, then you will too. It just is. So that was the first kind of organization, organizing your space. The second thing that I'm going to ask you to consider this week is organizing your thoughts. Organizing your thoughts. So I have kept notebooks. Y'all know this about me. This is actually our new notebook from the Target line, which sold out right away. Thank you. Thank you so much to those of you who pre-ordered it. But you can see here the stack of stuff. I've carried notebooks around with me forever. And I have used those notebooks to organize my thoughts. I do a ton of journaling. I constantly am fighting for time to just sort of be by myself. I set a predetermined amount of time. So I'll say, you know what, I'm going to journal for 30 minutes, or I'm going to journal for an hour. And the reason it's important to set a certain amount of time aside is because the good stuff that you kind of need to work through and process doesn't show up at the top of your journaling, right? So I'll sit down and I'll say, okay, I have 30 minutes and I'm just going to write. I'm going to write about anything. I'll just stream of consciousness. Here's where we are. Here's what's going on in the world. Here's how life is, blah, blah, blah. And inevitably, you'll run out of things to talk about. And the reason that you have a preset amount of time is because you're not allowed to move or look at your phone or get up or read a book. You're not allowed to do anything until that time is up. You have to sit with your notebook and your pen for the amount of time that you decided in advance. And the beauty in this is that you'll sit there for a few minutes. You're like, man, I do not know what to talk about. I am not sure what I'm going to say. And then stuff starts bubbling up. And you just keep writing and you keep writing. And every time you get to a spot where you're like, I don't know what else to say, just stay there. And the things that I have been able to figure out, the problems I've worked through, the for my business, for my marriage, for myself, I've worked through so many things in the pages of a spiral bound notebook. It does not have to be anything special. My only two prerequisites for you is that you have to write it down. Don't type it. Don't do it audibly. Write it down. There's something that happens when you have to write. And then have the preset time. Those are the only two rules. And it's something, if you can do it once a week, it would be phenomenal, but maybe that's something you challenge yourself to do today, because I think you're probably feeling all kinds of feelings. I'm feeling all kinds of feelings right now, right? I'm feeling joy, I'm feeling hope, I'm feeling scared, I'm feeling happy, I'm feeling sad, I'm having weird dreams. I'm starting to have these weird dreams that you guys having quarantine anxiety dreams? Because Dave and I both keep having dreams that we're out in public at a restaurant, or we go to the grocery store or something, and we don't have gloves and we don't have a mask, and we're just going through our lives, and then all of a sudden we remember that we were supposed to be in quarantine and we freak out. Clearly the anxieties that I'm not processing during the day are showing up in my sleep. So by spending this time to organize my thoughts, I'm allowing myself to process it in a safe way. And there's something about journaling that I feel it's almost like you're kind of watching it removed from the moment. I don't know how to explain it, but if you are not someone who has done journaling work, I really think that you could benefit from it. It's so powerful and it's so helpful for you to just have that clarity that you need. In the absence of having someone who you can talk to all the time and kind of process with, the journal becomes this incredible place to process. And I love it because the journal doesn't judge. It doesn't give you advice. It doesn't tell you its opinion. It just allows you to work through thoughts on your own. So I highly recommend that you spend some time and you try and figure out how to organize your thoughts. So organize your space, organize your thoughts, organize your direction. Organize your direction. So this feels so stinking important to me, and it's something that I have talked about a bajillion times in the last couple of years, because if you know anything about my company, my business, my career, then you, I think, know that I have built a really successful company. I've built a really successful career, and I've had a lot of, very lucky and blessed. I've had a lot of success in not just my professional life, but my personal life. And I really, truly believe with everything in me that anybody can achieve anything. I really do believe this if they stay focused and they have a plan. Because that's my truth. That is my reality. That is the world that I have lived in. I have achieved extraordinary things because I stayed focused and I had a plan. It's why I created the Start Today line. Like if you're familiar with my journal line or my planner line, it's why I started making those products, because I was doing that work inside of a notebook and I wanted a place to better organize it. So I took the things that I was doing there and then I put them into the product. And the first product we had was, I assume that most of you have your Start Today journal. I hope that you do. If you don't, I always want to make sure you understand, I believe in the process so much. You do not have to buy a product. I give the process away for free. In episode 72 of my podcast, I read the entire first chapter and tell you how to do it in your own notebook. So if you don't want to buy it, don't buy it. But if you have been looking for something that will start your day with intention and help you organize and focus on where you are going, it's my product, so I highly recommend. So this is one of our new journals from our Target line. It is, if you're getting this on Monday, is it in? Oh, it's available for pre-order. Okay, sorry, I'm losing my mind. It's available for pre-order on Target.com. But there's so much stuff. Hopefully you guys know all about it. But you can, all the things, all the quotes, all the cuteness. It helps you organize where you're going. It's like, okay, where are you at? Where are you going? Where do you want to be when this is done? But what is so important, and again, you do not have to buy this product. Go just copy this and do it in your own notebook. Every single day, you start each day with 5 things that you are grateful for. 5 things that you are grateful for that happened in the last 24 hours. So 5 things that happened in the last 24 hours that you can feel gratitude about. And then 10 dreams that you are going to make come true. So I want to make sure that you guys get how the process works. So just really quickly, I'm going to take you through how, I'm going to show you this video that explains how to do the journal, okay? And you do not have to buy it. I'm going to show you this process. So if you don't want to buy this thing, go get a spiral bound notebook and do what it says, okay? So here we go. Now, I'm going to explain to you how to do the daily practice. First, start with a shimmy. Obviously, we put the date at the top, and do not stress out if you have missed a few days. Ideally, we want you to do this every day. It will help you most if you do it every day, but even I miss some days. It's okay. So you're going to put the date, and then the very first thing that we ask you to do is to write down 5 things that you are grateful for, 5 things that you are thankful for, 5 things that feel like blessings in your life. And I want to be clear, these are not big things. These are not, I'm grateful for my kids, I'm grateful for my family, I'm grateful for my health. Those are important. But what I want you to do is find little things, simple things that happened within the last 24 hours of your life that you can feel deep appreciation for. Things like your partner brought you a great cup of coffee. Things like you saw a beautiful sunset, you saw a cute dog, your kid told you a joke, someone let you in traffic, you got the exact class and course load that you wanted this semester. Like simple things that can bring you joy. Because the goal is that if you know that tomorrow morning you got to come up with 5 new things, you will spend your day looking for things to be grateful for. So that's the idea. Gratitude. Also because from a place of feeling blessed and feeling abundant, we believe that good things are possible. And if you're gonna call some big shots, you need to believe that big things are possible. Then we write down our 10 dreams. And yes, you write down the same 10 things every day. Here are the only times that you change your 10 dreams. 1, if you didn't write it in the right way. This is our conversation. If you feel like you need a more powerful word, or you figured out a better way to say the same thing in a way that sort of sinks in for you a little bit more, then you change not the dream, but how you write it. You can change a dream in the exciting event that you become a Start Today dream catcher. Woo! If you have never checked it out, hashtag STJ Dreamcatcher on Instagram. It will make your heart soar. Heart soar like a bird, not soar like you're hurt. For clarity. A dream catcher is what we call it when you achieve one of the dreams on your list. It's a very big deal in our community. We love to love on you as you do it. And if you need to feel inspired, if you're not sure that this practice works, I would highly encourage you to go on Instagram right now, hashtag STJ Dreamcatcher, and see the stories of people fundamentally changing their lives. It's so inspiring. And when you achieve your dream, please post about it and let us see so we can love on you and celebrate your wins right along with you. If you have achieved something, congratulations, you have a new space, which is so much fun to get to write down something new and have a new dream to work toward. The last piece of the daily practice is your goal. It's not enough to claim a big vision. It's not enough to see something way up here. You've got to narrow it down because it's hard for us to actually make major moves on big stuff. Remember the elephant? One bite at a time. You've got to figure out what the first bite is. So you start with gratitude, then you focus on dreams, and then you ask yourself this question. What's the one thing that you're going to do first? What is the one goal? One. If you have not read Stop Apologizing, Girl Stop Apologizing, go get it at the library, go listen to it on audio for real. You will understand. I dig deeply into this idea of one goal. I really believe you can only focus on one new goal at a time. If you are trying to get healthy and you're trying to grow your business and you're trying to train your dog, and it's too much. You will lose momentum. You won't be as effective. But if you choose one thing, what's the one thing from your list that you're going to start to do first? That's how you end every single morning session with your journal. Gratitude, goal setting, one goal. And if right now you're like, that sounds amazing, but how do I achieve the one goal? Girl, have we got a product for you? Awesome. So now you have an idea of how you can start every single day intentionally focusing on where you are going. But you know, the journal every single day ends with, what's the one thing that I'm going to focus on first? And so many people in our community were like, okay, great. I got down to my one thing. How do you achieve that? So that was when our planner was born. So I made the priority planner because I wanted something that would explain to people how I approach a goal. And for me, like, there are plenty of people right now who would be like, oh, I don't want to chase down a goal. This doesn't feel like the right time. Quarantine doesn't feel like the right time to, I'm like, quarantine feels like the most important time to have clear direction about where you're going. Quarantine feels like some of you have lost your job. Some of you have gotten furloughed. Some of you have had drastic changes happen to your family. You've got to figure it out right now. And if you're not careful, like with anything else in life, a bunch of different things will distract you from where you're trying to go. So that's what this is. This is not a calendar. This is not a like, oh, I have a dentist appointment. This is not that. The only goal of the planner is to help you achieve the goal that's in front of you. So I'm going to show you really quickly something that takes you through how to do the planner. And listen, again, you don't want to buy the product, don't buy the product. Just take what I'm saying to you and do it in your own notebook. It's time for your daily priority list. Our first example of the daily priorities list is on page 16. Again, you're gonna put the date on there, you're gonna put the day of the week, your 5 to thrive checklist. So we have 5 to strive. Hopefully you've hung out with me long enough, you know what 5 to thrive is. But these are the 5 daily habits that have fundamentally changed my life, that have made me feel more centered and healthy and strong. They are: wake up an hour earlier than you usually do, so you have time to do this practice. Work out for 30 minutes every single day. Drink half your body weight in ounces of water. Practice daily gratitude. You already accomplished it because you did your Start Today journal. Congratulations. And 5, give up one category of food for 30 days you know you should not be eating. The next is your daily results list. Remember, we had our weekly results list, so hopefully you understand exactly what I am saying. This is a game changer. I cannot stress it enough. This is a game changer. Y'all, everyone sitting in this room works at my company. If you just did 3 things every day, just 3, what's on your to-do list? 3 things. But these 3 things are things that absolutely fundamentally push my agenda forward, push my work forward. If you just focus on the 3 things that you could do today, you would be astounded. Astounded. Stop doing a to-do list. It's not answering the emails. It's not answering the Slack. It's the 3 major moves you can do today that would really gain some traction. So I write down the tasks that I want to accomplish today in order of importance. Why? Because my brain works better at the beginning of the day than it does at the end of the day. And if I have the most important thing to take on, I want to approach it when I am freshest. And then I give a time, an estimated time. How long do I think it's gonna take me? It's gonna take me an hour, it's gonna take me 2 hours. That way I have a plan. These major moves usually take time. It may take you half the day, but when it's done, you feel like a queen. You accomplished something big. So you want to give yourself estimated time. The question underneath that, which is beautiful and powerful and true: what is something you can do today that would make you proud of yourself? Imagine how your life would change if every single morning you had to write down one thing you could do today that you would end the day feeling proud. A lot of us don't have opportunities to feel proud because we're not intentional about that. Maybe what you write down today is I call grandma. Maybe what you write down today is I create a thank you note for my daughter. It's not necessarily tied to your results list, but every single day you can prompt yourself for a sense of pride so you know what you're working toward. The next question is, what can I anticipate that might throw me off track? What can I anticipate? Because if you know that something might pop up and throw you off, you can plan for it in advance. Why on earth would I write out my entire day in a calendar? Why on earth would I write it all out? Especially for me, my calendar is in my phone. I just want to show you, from morning to night in my office, I am booked solid. And if I write it out, then I see my gaps. For some reason, in digital form, my calendar feels like Monopoly money. It doesn't feel real. And there's something about actually writing it out that I can see. When I started doing this was when I realized, Rachel, when are you eating? What is the plan to eat lunch? Are you able to show up as the best leader you can be if you're that stacked tight on top of each other? Or, you know what? When you meet with Haley, y'all tend to get to chatting, you maybe go over time, and then you're over and you actually are late for your meeting with D, and when you meet with D, you're definitely gonna talk too long, and now that's gonna throw off. I literally do this. Cameron doesn't chit chat. We're not talking about, whatever. He comes in, he's like, wham, 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 approval, yes. This, I'm like, high five, see you next week, keep it real. I know for a fact that Cameron will not utilize all his time. This is how crazy. So then I can go over a little with Haley, have a shorty with Cameron, and then be right on track for D. But it wasn't until I started writing it out that I started to think through those things. I really like to look at my plan either in digital or this form. Like if you look at my digital calendar, it's color coded. I want to look at the day and know what's expected of me. Same with this. I was very intentional that we did basically the hours that I am awake. So if you look at this, these are the hours that I am awake. 5 a.m. to 9:30 p.m. This is what is on this. Because I don't want you to just plan your work day. I want you to plan the time with the babies. I want you to plan the workout. I want you to plan the date night. I want it in here. If you put it in your calendar, you actually have a chance of doing it. So for instance, a lot of people will only put their meetings in their calendar. The rest of the time is open. That is not an effective use of your time. That is not good planning. So if you have open time in your calendar, schedule it for yourself. Say, this is when I'm doing outreach for new nonprofit partnership. This is when I'm looking for space for our next photo shoot or whatever. Plan out what you're doing that time with. I'm gonna assume I don't need the best mental capacity to go look at prospective venues. So if I was gonna do that, well, I would put that into the end of the day when I don't need as much energy to accomplish it, but maybe there's something that really requires your time and focus. I will put that into my morning time. Nothing would make my heart happier than you getting super hardcore and artistic into your hashtag priority planner and then putting it on Instagram so that we can see how artistic you are. But even if you're not that fancy, this is a very powerful tool. What is the empowering belief that you need to take with you into this day? This changes for me every single day of my life. Some days I'm feeling like all the energy and all the fire, and my empowering belief is like, yes, you are a badass. I had several days last week where literally my empowering belief was, thank you for blessing me with a mind to wrap and 2 fast feet. And if no one here understood that reference, and I'm sad and I feel old. Thank you for blessing me with a mind to wrap and 2 fast feet. It's good. Come on, can't touch this. Da-na-na-na, da-na. I can't touch this, because I felt really strong. I felt like I was untouchable, and that song kept playing in my head, and so my empowering belief was those lyrics. This is my planner, not yours. Don't judge me. My empowering belief changes day to day. That's why there's a prompt for it every single day of the week, so that you can ask yourself, what do I need to be reminded of today? Another way that you could say this is, if you were your own coach, if you were your own cheerleader, if you were your own parent, and you were the parent that you wish that you had, what would you say to yourself today? Write it down. So the last thing that I'm gonna talk about is you don't get a weekend off from being yourself. We are trying to be our best self 7 days a week. Now my weekend outline, who I want to be on a Saturday, probably doesn't have anything in it. If there is something in it, it might say going on a workout, going on a run with Dave, maybe cooking dinner or playing games with the kids. There'll be a lot of open free time, and that's just my time to rest. But the intentionality of planning this or doing this work is incredible. It's just that daily prompt, no matter what day it is, of who you want to be. Okay,
Okay, I know that's probably maybe like a weird place to stop, but I feel like that's also a lot of information we need to discuss. So we'll finish this up tomorrow. We'll watch like the last like little, oh gosh, it's like 7 minutes. Or you guys could always go in and kind of watch the last little bit there if you want to. Whew, that's a lot of stuff. I thought that was a good one. That was a good one today. I enjoyed that. Did you guys write all this stuff down? Hopefully you guys got to as well. Because I know her planners always sell out anyway. Like I tried to get her last daily journal that she had launched like last year, and I couldn't even get it. But the site kept crashing, and then it just like was sold out by the time I even got back around to it. So I was like really bummed then. So it's kind of cool that she's like, you don't need it. And I'm like, oh, well, shit. Wish I would have known that about a year ago. Maybe I could have been doing this stuff already. But it's just really cool too that you guys, because like that just shows what kind of person she is. You know what I mean? It's like, yeah, you can have the fancy planner, but the planner isn't the magic. The magic is the questions. The magic is the process, the steps, the questions that she's asking you, you know? So she's like, here's the questions. You don't need it. Get your own notebook, write your own down. And so what I did is I just wrote them on like a little small piece of paper, and I'm just gonna like take it up and maybe like tape it right here to my desk, and then get like a separate notebook. So I just look at the questions every day. So they're like right here. And then I will just write out my answers in like the notebook every day or every other day or whenever, you know. But that way I just have the questions always kind of like right up here up front. And I don't have to like keep flipping back to them or something like that. But I'm just gonna like put them right here. I'll probably rewrite them because I have like chicken scratch for handwriting. So I'll probably rewrite them like nicely, or maybe like type it up and like print it out. That'd probably be better. I have terrible handwriting. I always have. I'm left-handed, and like it's like I never learned that artistic ability. Okay, so let's just go through them because I want to make sure everybody kind of got them, or let's make sure I even got them all because maybe you guys wrote something down that I didn't. So first of all, always put your date. So make sure you got the date at the top of it so you know what date it is. So if you're looking back through, you can say, oh, look, I hit every single day. Or when did I write that down? Or when did I have that thought? When did I have that goal? You can always go back through. So make sure you're always labeling everything. And then the first thing I have is 5 things to be grateful for, and make sure that they were within 24 hours. I love that little 24-hour tip because there are times where I'll be like, I'm grateful for my son. And it's like some bullshit answer, you know, like it really is. And it's like, okay, like I kind of like the fact that it's like within 24 hours, kind of be like, oh, I'm grateful that my son took a bath last night, put clothes on, and went right to bed. That can be something that I can write down. You know what I mean? And that also connects it a little bit more with something specific. So I think that little 24-hour tip, you guys, is like something really to kind of like make it a little bit more personal in the moment. So I really enjoyed that little part. The next one is the 10 dreams. Make sure you're writing down your 10 dreams. I feel like I'm going to have to even think about what 10 dreams I have. I could probably name 5, 6, but 10, I feel like that's a lot. I was like, oh, I gotta think of like 10 things I want to do in life. Okay. So I think that's gonna be interesting. I'm just kind of curious even what my 10 are gonna be. So maybe we could do that, like maybe as like homework. Maybe we'll do like our first page, and tomorrow we'll come listen to the last 10 minutes of the video, and then we'll just talk about what we wrote down for our first time. You know, what were some of your dreams? What were some of your goals? What are your 3 tasks that you're doing today? What were some of your things that you're grateful for? So maybe after you get off the call here, take a few minutes if you can, or maybe set some time in your schedule later today. Schedule time, right? That's what we're doing here, right? Schedule time later in the day. You can't do it right now, to sit down and do this. To sit down so you have material to come with tomorrow so you can talk about it. When I say, hey, what were your 5 things you were grateful for in the last 24 hours? You can be like, oh, these were my 5. Okay. So then the 10 dreams. And then I love the dream catchers, you guys. That's such a cute little hashtag. Dream catchers, like, kind of made me emotional just even thinking about like going through the hashtag or being able to like finally hashtag it myself. Like, did you guys picture yourself doing that? Like when she was talking about it, like, did you picture like yourself for a second, like, wow, like, what is my dream going to be? And when do I get to like first hashtag that? And like, will she notice it? Will she comment on it? Will anybody else comment on it? Who else sees that? Who else follows that? I'm like, oh, I should go follow that hashtag. Like all these thoughts just kind of started spiraling out of that time. And so it was just really kind of cool though, you know, to have that thought and to think of other people working on dreams too, you know. It's probably a great hashtag to follow. You know, I don't know if you guys know that, but you can follow hashtags, not just people. So if you're on Instagram, like I follow hashtag warrior women. So anybody else that ever happens to hashtag warrior women, they come up on mine. And I get a lot of badass women that will come up on like fitness models and stuff like that. Like they just kind of motivate me, or like they're just real like badass women. They just like motivate me. I love seeing them. Yeah, they're always like, oh, like warriors and stuff. And like, I don't know. It's just, I like following that hashtag. Or I follow hashtag tough love. I love following hashtag tough love because I love seeing the things that people post from that. So you can follow hashtags that you like. Or like I follow hashtag Florida Keys. Like, you know, just to see who's coming down to the Florida Keys. Just little things like that. But could you imagine following hashtag STJ dream catchers. Imagine the stuff that's going to start coming up on your feed. I bet it's all going to be positive. I bet it's all going to be motivating and inspiring. And if you're trying to keep your headspace positive, don't you think those are the types of things that you should be following? Don't you think those are the types of things that you should be seeing on your news feed, not so-and-so over there hating quarantine? You know what I mean? Like, unfollow that person and follow a hashtag that's going to motivate you and inspire you. Okay? You have the power to do that. Like, you can follow and unfollow anybody and everybody you want, even if they're your cousin or your mom or whatever. Okay? If they're saying negative things and they're affecting you negatively, unfollow them. Okay? And then if they say something, why aren't you following me? Why aren't you friends with me? I'd be like, because you're a negative POS. Sorry about ya. Like, I just can't be around it anymore. I just can't. I can't fill my thoughts with your thoughts anymore because they're driving me insane. You know, because every time I read it, it starts getting my brain cycling and spiraling. And then I'm talking about it with my husband. And now I'm having a conversation about you and your negativity. And I'm wasting more time talking about you. You know, like, follow stuff that's actually going to motivate and inspire you. And if you're going to have a conversation about it, it be an uplifting conversation, a motivating conversation of, wow, look at this person who just crushed their dreams. You know, how cool is that? I don't even know this person, but look what they're doing. You know, like, if you're going to talk about people succeeding, not the people over there whining and griping, right? Okay, so then the next one is one goal. I don't know, that was kind of like an interesting section when she started talking about that. I was like, one goal? What's the difference between one goal and 10 dreams? I was kind of like, okay, so if I have 10 dreams, but I've got one goal, like, is one goal based off of one of those 10 dreams? Like, is that kind of how that works? I don't know. I think we're just going to have to kind of work through it. I think maybe it will develop as we continue to write it, as we continue to just try it. So I'm going to try it after this. I'm going to kind of, like, you know, once I'm not listening to her and I have, like, moments of silence to kind of think and maybe write, maybe it'll come to me. So I'm going to revisit that little section. Yeah, Brittany.
I think the one goal she was talking about, it was, what can you do today to make you proud? That was the one goal.
Okay.
I think.
Okay.
So it wasn't off of the goals, but just what can make you proud today.
Okay. I like that. And so if you got that one goal in, then you could say, like, hey, I've at least achieved this one small goal with these 3 things, like, because then she goes into 3 things to do. So I almost think even too is, like, if we could have that one goal and those three things to do line up with that goal, then we can be proud of ourselves, right? Maybe that's where it's kind of leading. Oh wait, hold on. Let me pull the chat over because I think I see people ready. But it was one dream you're going to have to accomplish first. Okay, so let's see. I was wondering the 10 dreams to make one bucket list. Yeah, I think the 10 dreams is kind of like a bucket list little style. Nicole, there we go. Yeah, I think it is kind of like, what would, like, 10 things, like, what 10 things that you could just, like, achieve and your life would just be like, you know, that's kind of how I think of that. And then how do you guys feel about throwing the to-do list? Yeah, the to-do list. So what was the to-do list? 3 things to do, most important first.
No, she said that, like, to throw out your to-do list and how it, like, wasn't conducive to, like, what you were doing every day. And I'm like, that really keeps me on track for my day. That's part of what helps me stay organized. I can't throw it out.
I think I agree, because we've always got, like, a list of stuff that just kind of has to happen throughout the day, because I'm a scatterbrain and I will naturally, like, just find other things to do if I don't have like a list or a task to kind of be like, oh yeah, I'm back here. And so what we could do is, like, maybe 3 things to do and, like, subcategories of those 3 lists. Like, in order for my house to be clean, I need to do the laundry, do the dishes, sweep the house. You know what I mean? Like, one of my 3 things is clean the house, but there's gonna be a lot that goes into cleaning the house. So, like, subcategories.
I actually put my to-do list in my journal because then it makes me go back and reference the notes that I've taken throughout Warrior Hour and everything else. So it kind of like helps keep me on track of like, if I need a reset, I go back and look at my to-do list and then reread everything that we talked about.
Yeah. And I think it's cool too, is like, the good thing about maybe not having the actual specific journal is we can customize it to meet our needs. You know what I mean? Like, it's almost kind of cool just like hearing what you do compared to what somebody else does. And we are all going to be different, you know, like we're not all Rachel. So like that journal was designed for her, right? And so maybe ours is going to look a little different. Maybe we can take her material, write it down, but then when we're, you know, applying it, it looks maybe a little different for me, and that's totally fine. And maybe it looks a little different for you of what works for you. Maybe colors confuse you. You know, maybe all the color coordinating would actually distract you more than it would help you organize. So what works for you may not work for somebody else, or vice versa. And that is the beauty of it. That's one thing I love, you guys. Like, I love celebrating the fact that what you do may be different than what I do, but that doesn't make any more wrong or right either way. It's just what works for you and what works for me. As long as we're achieving goals, I'm in on it, you know? As long as we're getting things done and we feel positive and motivated and moving in the right direction, dude, I'm in on it. Like, you know? So I think we're just gonna have to play with it a little bit, maybe. Try it a couple different ways. Try it a couple different things. Be like, look, that didn't work. Now we know. Not a failure, right? It's just a learning opportunity. That's what I love about, like, just reminding myself, it's like, I'm not a failure. It was just, whoops, that didn't work. Let's try something else, you know? Everything is just a learning opportunity rather than like a failure or a success. Okay. So let me see. I have the one goal, then I have the 5 to Thrive list, which I was debating what food I need to give up with for 30 days. Do you guys have I don't know. I was thinking chips. I'm kind of like terrible at eating chips. I'm more salty. Like, I like chocolate and stuff, but I could probably, Derek and I could sit and eat a whole bag of chips like together. Just no thought in the world, and all of a sudden the bag is just empty. So maybe I'll do that. I might. Alicia, you're giving up dairy, stop sodas. Look at you guys. Yeah, I think I'm gonna have to do chips. I think that's a good little break. And plus it'd probably save me a lot of money. You guys know, like, chips are like $4 or $5 sometimes, and like I eat it in the night and it's like, wow, I just consumed like 1,500 calories in a bag of chips. Okay, so then it's 3 things to do, most important first, and a timeline, or a time limit. I'm sorry. I like the time limit. I'm going to start adding that to myself because I'm kind of bad at that. Of where, like, I don't ever really put time limits on a lot of my stuff, which is probably why I also am like, oh, I'll do that tomorrow. I'm kind of bad at that. I'm all about, oh, there's still tomorrow. Oh, I'll do that tomorrow. I push a lot of things off to tomorrow. So I'm going to start working on that. Then what would make you proud? I like the what might throw you off as well. I think that's a good little spot to just be like, where can you already see a barrier coming in? Where can you already see a barrier being roadblocking you? Because I love that. If you could already be kind of aware of that, then when it happens, you're like, I'm already ready for you. You know, like, you're already freaking like on guard, like ready to go, rather than it just surprising you and then you kicking yourself because you knew it was coming, but you didn't do anything to prepare for it. Because how many of us do that? You know, you knew that roadblock was probably coming, but since you didn't prepare for it and really acknowledge it, then when it happened, you go, oh, I knew that was going to happen and I didn't do anything to stop it. You know, so I think that we're better off when we just prepare for it, know it's going to happen, and have a game plan to when it happens. Because then you're like, haha, I knew you were coming. I'm already here. I'm already ready for you. Bring it on. I've got 2 ideas for you, you know? And like, for an example, is like, Maybe Derek and I were going to go take a walk at 2. But he could also be really tired and maybe need a nap at 2. So I'm ready for that, right? Yes, this was the plan, but maybe if he needs a nap, I've got a second plan in order, and then we could take a walk afterwards and we can switch it around so I could already be aware and plan for that, rather than annoyed because we couldn't take our walk at 2 when I wanted to, and now you're tired and you don't want to take a nap or you don't want to take a walk. You know, that's just like something random I just thought of. But like, you know what I mean? Like if I can go ahead and be like, well, this is what I planned, but this might happen, so this will be like plan B. Okay. I'm kind of reading these. Sometimes I think when I'm reading and talking at the same time, though, it kind of confuses me. I am not a multitasker, okay? And then the last one is just getting on a schedule. I know, I would say, like, honestly, you guys, like, I was the most organized when I worked with a schedule sitting in front of me. So when I used to work at a dentist office, we had a schedule at all times, like, and it was moved around. People, yeah. So Lisa and I, Lisa Anderson and I, that's actually how we met. We met working at a dentist office in Indianapolis, and we worked, like, to be honest though, like, we all worked really well together. Like, every time you spoke to somebody, you had to leave notes about what you spoke about. If you called them, you had to leave notes. If you, whatever you spoke about had to go into the notes. So that way, when somebody else from the back went into their profile, they can say, oh, it looks like you spoke to so-and-so on so-and-so about so-and-so, and you guys talked about this, and da-da-da-da, and it was like all right there. And you had to put it in there, because if you didn't, and they had that conversation and that note wasn't in there, oh, buddy, old Dr. Ray, get on your ass. Yeah. And, but you guys, it was so cool because we all worked really well. Like, it really did. When it worked, you know, because everybody was always on the same page, or everybody was looking at the same schedule of, hey, we have so-and-so and so-and-so and so-and-so. And then we have these people coming in between, and we're moving and we're moving, and this maybe take a little bit longer, so we'll extend this down. Like, everything was scheduled. And then as the day went, we would move things a little bit, you know, if it took a little bit longer or a little bit shorter, we would adjust it during the day. We would enter notes on every single person as they came in, as they left. Everything was like to a T. And then that way also, when you called them 6 months later for their checkup, you had all the notes, everything right there, and you were into the next thing. And so you guys, when you're taking notes or you're doing a schedule, it can be kind of annoying, you know, in the moment, because you're like, oh, I gotta write this out. Oh, I know what I'm doing. I don't need to write it out. You do. Because a week later or 2 weeks later or 3 weeks later, when you want to go back and look at, oh, what did I write down? Oh, what did I say to that person? Oh, when did I message her? You're not going to have it. You're not going to have that information, right? And then you get frustrated because you just talked to somebody about the same thing that you talked to them about 2 weeks ago, and they're like, well, we already talked about this. And you're like, oh, I knew you did. I just couldn't remember. But if you would have put it in notes, or you would have put it in a planner, or you would have had it wrote down, you wouldn't be having that problem. Right. And so I learned a lot just like working at a dentist office, or even working at the hair salon. I used to manage a hair salon. And if you didn't put what color, like, so the hairstylist would write down what color they used on people and what process. I didn't know what they were like. R16 with 2 volume, 30 lift, blah, 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 full highlight. I don't know what the heck they're talking about, you know, and I'm just like, okay, so I just had to type it exactly the way they wrote it, exactly the way they said it, because the next time that person comes in, if you didn't write, it needed 30 volume with R67, and they're trying to figure out what color they had used 6 weeks ago. Who are they mad at? They're mad at me because I didn't write it in correctly, right? And so you have to make sure that you're putting all this information in. Have this information for you to track. Have this information for you to go back and look at. It's going to make such a big difference when you can go to that client or go to that person and say, hey, how's Sally? How was her appointment? And did you guys get her hair cut on that Tuesday, or did you guys get to do that? And she's like, oh my God, I can't believe you remembered. You're like, of course I remembered, because I wrote it down. Right? It's so much easier when you just like take notes for yourself or have a track for yourself. Okay. So that's kind of like, just, it's kind of nice. I don't know if you guys know this, but I have an organizational communications degree. That's what I went to college for. So when I found out today was all about organization, I was like, yay, it's my jam. I'm like all about organization, but I'm also like kind of a chaotic organization. Like I know where everything else is, but like nobody else knows where everything is. But like I got it all under control. Like it's in here, but like it's in my own way. So I'm definitely, I've gotten off track a little bit. I think I'm ready to kind of get back organized, especially now that I have a desktop. I'm kind of hoping maybe I can download some kind of system to where I can start entering people's names in and maybe create a little schedule that I could look at every day, you know, that's up on my computer and say, okay, from 8 to 9, I got warrior hour. After that, I'm hanging with Derek. And then after that, I'm going to be doing a call with so-and-so and so-and-so back to back. And then, you know what I mean? Like something like that I could look at on my computer, because I realized that when I worked at a hair salon, a dentist office, the spas that I worked at for massage, we follow a schedule. Everybody comes to the computer, you look at the schedule, you write down your names, you write down who you have, or you have another computer in your little office or whatever, and everybody stays on the same schedule, right? Like how many businesses run like that? Why can't you do it for yourself at home? Why not? You know, that's kind of how I feel. It's like it used to work for me when I worked at a dentist office with a team of 10. Why can't it work for me with a team of 1? You know, I should be able to know what I wrote. I don't even have to go back to the back and ask, what does this mean? I'll be like, because I wrote it. It's just me. You know? So just some ideas, just some things to think about. Definitely, I thought it was interesting that she was like, what other time, like what a better time to get organized? Like some people are like, oh, it's quarantine. What do I need to be organized for? Hello, this is the exact time that you need to be organized, because you have all the time. And so what do we do when we have all the time? Nothing. Because we have all the time, right? We're like, oh, we've got time to still do it. I've got time. I don't have anything to do. I'll do it later. And then later comes around and you never do it. But I think if we got on a schedule, if you set a time limit, so I'm going to have that done by noon, you know, or I can't sit, you know what I even thought too is like, have a time limit of like, I can't go watch TV until after 5. I'm not allowed to sit down and watch TV until after 5. That's kind of a goal I have for myself. Like there's a few things that I don't allow myself to do until later. Rather than saying, oh, I have to have this done by noon, I'm more like, you have to continue working until 2 o'clock. And then you can get up from your computer and go work on the house. Like, I'm more like, you have to stay here and work. Because if not, I just walk up and I start getting distracted. Or I'll sit and watch a movie at 2 o'clock in the afternoon for no reason that I could have watched at 7 o'clock in the evening. It would have made more sense, and I could have went outside at 2 o'clock for a walk, you know. So sometimes kind of play around with your time and set time limits, but also, you know, restrict your time of like schedule your time, or kind of create restrictions for your time in other ways, not just time limits. I don't know how to explain that. It's not a time limit. It's like a time restriction, but that's not the right word that I want to use. But you guys understand what I'm saying, is like, you know what I mean? Like say you guys want to get a drink of wine. Okay, you can't have a drink of wine until 8 o'clock. You can get that at 8 o'clock. You know, you have your glass of wine and then you can go to bed. Something like that. You know what I mean? Because you want to reach for it at 5, but you know when you reach for it at 5, then you're definitely not doing anything until you go to bed. Right? And then you just sat and drank the whole bottle because you started at 5, and you were up till 9:30, and now the whole bottle's gone, when in reality you should have waited till 8, had that 1 or 2 glasses of wine and went to bed. But you started at 5. So when 7 came around and 8 came around, you're still drinking the wine, right? And that happens. And then we don't do anything. It's not like you're going to hit play on a workout at 7 if you started drinking wine at 5. You know, you're like, well, I already popped the bottle. You know, like how many times have we said that? Like, I know I've said that. It's like, well, we already started drinking. I'm not going to go back and do a workout now. You know? And so maybe you need to restrict your time of like, I can't do this until I've achieved this part, or until later in the day, or, you know, things like that. So play around with it a little bit, but be honest with yourself on what you need. Okay. I think that's the something. Sometimes we just aren't honest with ourselves, and we'll like convince ourselves that it's okay when in reality we know it's not. You know? But we just got to be very honest with ourselves of what is truly needs to be on our schedule, and when does it really need to be there. Like for me, I'm kicking myself because I can't get out of bed because I know I need to be getting that workout in early. I know I should have my workout done before I come here, and I have it for like a week, and I can tell. Maybe you guys can't tell, but I can tell the difference in my delivery, of my talking, my energy. I can tell a difference, you know? And so I need to do what I know. Like, I need to be honest with myself and say, yo, Jen, get your ass up and go get your workout in before you talk to your warrior women, because you know that's what you need to be doing. Stop playing games. Get up. Like, I'm allowing excuses because, oh, I'll just get it in after the warrior hour. Yeah, that's fine. But now you just push back your time with your son, and now you just push back lunch, and now you just push back and push back and push back and push back. Why? Why? Because I wanted to sleep. Get up. Like, you know what I mean? Like, sometimes you gotta be mean to yourself. Sometimes you gotta freaking slap yourself around and say, get up. Stop giving yourself those freaking excuses, you know? And stop accepting them from yourself. That's the thing, is we're so easy on ourselves when it comes to like, oh, but you've just been through a lot. It's just, you've been through it. No, get up. Get up. Slap yourself around. You're going to be proud of yourself when you get up and press play on that workout. Okay? That's what I want you guys. I want you guys proud, not beating yourselves up, feeling guilty, pushing stuff back. We just get up and we do what we know needs to be done. So tomorrow, I'm getting up and pressing play before I get here. And if not, I want you guys to give me shit the whole meeting. I promise. I'm getting up tomorrow. I'm like literally like mentally setting myself up right now. Like tomorrow, Jen, you're getting up. You're pressing play. You are doing it no matter what. I don't care. Set 5 alarms if you have to. Get up. Like I'm like setting that mindset like now, you know? And I'm pumping myself up for it. So that way when tomorrow happens, my alarm goes off, I just jump right out of bed. Right? Because I've been pumping myself up for it. And there's no reason I shouldn't be getting up, hitting that workout first. Right? Right. All right, ladies, it's 9:19. Okay, so so she is still taking pre-orders. Awesome. Ooh, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Go, go, go. I love 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. We need to listen to some more Mel Robbins. I actually have her book on my audiobooks. Maybe I'll find a good like story or spot that we could listen to her on Wednesday. She's got some good stuff in her book. So, all righty. Awesome, ladies. I'm reading through some of these comments to make sure. But if I miss anything, just message me, guys. That's awesome. So you could still get her book on pre-order right now, her little planner. So you guys could write that down if you wanted to. Alrighty, ladies, I am done for the day. I'm gonna go hit this workout. I got 10 rounds, week 2 starting. So I'm excited about that. And then Tomorrow we'll just watch the little 10 minutes, but I would love to get some interaction tomorrow on this. Okay, so everybody try to do it either tonight or tomorrow morning, whether you want to set yourself up for today or you want to set yourself up for tomorrow, that's totally up to you. But find some things you're grateful for. Find some like goals. I would love to hear some of your guys's like 2 or 3 of your list of 10 dreams. I don't think we need to do 5 to Thrive, but we could do like, what are your 3 things you're going to do today? What's one thing you can be proud of for yesterday? Maybe we'll do something like that, you know? But I would love to maybe kind of have like an interactive day tomorrow. So be ready for me to like need you guys. Let's talk and let's like work it out. Let's, you know, use this group to kind of lean on and say, these are my goals. Are these good goals? Are these good dreams? And maybe we can like discuss it and be like, yes, that's an awesome goal. Because then also I think too, when we share goals with each other, then we can watch each other achieve them. And how cool is that? You know, because then maybe 6 months down the road, somebody will come and be like, hey, remember when I shared that goal? Now I can hashtag STJ Dreamcatcher because I achieved one of my dreams, blah, blah, blah. You know, you guys are getting what I'm saying. But it would just be really cool to be able to know some of your guys' dreams and to support you on it while you're working towards them. Right? Right? That's what we're here for, ladies. All right. I'm going to let you guys go. All right. Have a fantastic day. I will see you guys tomorrow. Okay? Bye.